the Soul Finder podcast with Kathy D. Carter. I'm going to throw you another topic, Kathy, and just let you go from the top of your head.
Okay.
We recorded an episode earlier, and you brought up the word adjusting. And the way you brought it up was talking about the way the world is different now with AI coming out, and, you know, people need to be able to adjust to technology. And I want to broaden that out.
Okay.
To just adjusting to everything.
You're so right. And I can recall this because, oh my goodness, I'm old enough to remember calling my parents and what was it? The generation gap. Oh my God. We always had the generation gap we talked about. And that's what we would blame it on for them. Oh, just don't worry about it. It's the generation gap. You wouldn't get it anyway. In my personal opinion, what I believe today, all young people coming in, being born, are much more advanced than the people already here. They come in with much more knowledge than what we have. We've had to earn and grow and figure out our knowledge. They are being born with this knowledge already. It is a parent's duty to feed, to shelter, and to unconditionally love that child and support them in whatever that child's soul's purpose is. Unfortunately, the common story that gets played out for the child is, you are my child. I fed you and I sheltered you and I cared for you and you owe me. And I will take all of your money from your paychecks until I say I won't. I will tell you what you excel at best and how you will make the most money for us, because you will have to support us in old age when we need help, and that will be your duty, and you will have to have the money to do that. What we do with our money in the meantime is our business. And this is kind of how it goes down the river. And I am seeing a huge trend of change in the clients saying, I don't want to do that. And they are finding ways to not do that.
That is way interesting to me, because I am beginning to think, and I see you and I both deal with people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I know that the common thing to do is for the generation prior to complain about the current generation.
Right.
I'm going to go the other way as well, because what I've noticed, and I haven't necessarily noticed exactly what you're saying, but I think there's a generation, and it may be mine. I don't know how they work generations, how the official Gen X, Gen Z, whatever.
I don't know those.
But I think there's a generation that did a poor job parenting.
Oh.
And that generation.
And those kids are paying for it.
Or if this is so broad, and I'm going to be wrong about this, but if you have a kid who is between the ages of 28 and 40, I think it may be your generation that was a bad parenting generation. Because
I'd move it down some.
Would you? Well, let me tell you what I think about the current generation.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, like in my generation, really underrate the generation that came after us, and really, really underrate the generation that came after them, because we complain about Gen X. Is that what about the millennials.
Yeah, I don't know the names.
We complain they feel entitled. They feel this. They're lazy. But you know what? No, they're smart. They've got common sense. They don't have the same priorities that you had. that doesn't mean that they're not right. And I can see past that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't see that, I completely understand why people my age will be frustrated with generations that come after me. But if you stop and you look and you think, you're absolutely right. But about generations come after, every generation is going to be smarter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily know if I buy into the reason that you're saying they're smarter. And I'm not saying it's wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but I think another advantage every generation has is we've already solved a lot of problems that they don't have to deal with. And for example, a couple of years ago, I don't know how long, COVID screwed me all up as far as timelines. But people in my generation were complaining that kids today don't even know how to write cursive. So what? So
where's it used?
So what you're telling me is the schools are taking the time that they used to spend teaching kids to write cursive, and they're spending that time on something more productive.
Science, maybe?
What's wrong with that? Or kids today don't have to learn
everyday living.
They don't have to learn long division. Well, you know what? There's 6 months that they could be spending. They don't need to know long division. Everyone has a calculator. Okay? So rather than taking whatever time it takes to learn long division,
teach them how to use the calculator.
Exactly. And so they've got an advantage, just like my generation had an advantage, because I'm going to be extreme. I didn't have to wake up in the morning and go plow the field before I went to school.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Every generation is going to be able to advance further because of contributions the previous generation made.
And have it easier.
And it's not necessarily easier because you're replacing it with something else.
A calculator is much easier than doing long division.
Yes, and now instead of learning long division, I'm having to learn quantum physics.
Okay.
Or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's true. It is a handoff to something else.
Yeah, it's not necessarily, your life isn't easier. Certain things in your life are easier, but it's kind of like this. See if I can make all this. See if I can complete this circle. One of my favorite podcasts I do, other than yours, is called Real Football Stories, REEL. And the guy that hosts that podcast was the Dallas Cowboys football film and video coordinator.
Oh, cool.
Since 1981. And when he started, you had to film the game on reel-to-reel.
Oh, my.
And you had to go develop that film. And then you had to drive it or fly it. I mean, it was a huge process.
Yeah.
So he's watched it develop from reel-to-reel to now. It's all high-speed internet. It's all online. But his job hasn't gotten any easier.
Right.
It's just different.
Mm-hmm.
He's able to do more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not any easier.
He evolved with it instead of saying, oh, I can't do that, and quitting and being the victim of, well, my job changed and I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying to my generation, the generation before me, is don't make fun of or rag on the current generation because they don't have to learn cursive or long division. It's not easier for them. It's being replaced with other things.
Exactly.
So you're only diminishing them when you say, oh, you got it easy. Because they don't have it any easier necessarily. Certain things are easy. You know, you don't have to walk to school uphill both ways in the snow anymore.
Or ride your horse to school.
So it just bothers me. And that, to me, creates a atmosphere of gridlock. If you've got Generation X just bitching and moaning and complaining about Generation Y.
Because they don't have to ride their horse to work.
Yeah. And
that is a low vibrational frequency that would stay stuck in that and use that as an excuse in any kind of talk, period.
Mm-hmm. And it is all about adjusting, like you said. And
we have to change. This life is all about change. Embracing change, walking into the unknown and being okay.
And sometimes we're forced
Yes, we are.
to do the right thing.
Well, we're forced into the unknown, too,
Well,
aren't
that's
we?
true, too, yes. Yes, but...
Both of us have been there.
We go kicking and screaming. Once again, COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We go kicking and screaming because
I'm
we're
referring to the hospital.
I know. You're going the other way. I'm going the positive way. Look, I know that for a lot of people, I'm a worker. I love working. And I'm not lazy.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people complain that these millennials, they just want to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there may be something to that.
You know what I am beginning to think? Because I have several of them that I work with. And what I am finding and noticing, and of course, I have a very select group. I'm just here. I have one in Canada, one in Austin. I really don't have enough that's away from this area. But I am finding that I am catching myself and saying, you can't judge them. You do not know them. You do not know why for this person, well, for these several people, it is overwhelming. It is overwhelming for them to get up, get ready, feed themselves, and be at a meeting at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
It is overwhelming. It puts them in so much anxiety.
I will judge those people.
That they can't handle it. But you have to understand, this is kids that are, I shouldn't call them kids. They're grown-ups, but they are coming to me already at an age asking for help because they know this isn't right and this shouldn't be this way.
What do you mean? What's not right?
That they can't get to an 8 o'clock phone meeting on their computer at home.
That's a major problem.
I know. I know. It's serious. And no one is looking at it because these kids are, kids again, these grown-ups, they are exceptionally bright. They have such knowledge that if you get them talking in the right area that is their area, they'll snow you.
Well, you know what I think that is? And I'm going to simplify it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a lack of communication between, it can be boss and employee.
I agree.
Corporation and employee. Coach and player.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'll give you a personal example, see if I can complete this circle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was a kid, I quit playing football. The reason I quit playing football was because I didn't understand why. I was always a big kid, and I played offensive line. If you know anything about football, offensive linemen are the fat dudes that don't run on plays. They just there to block. So on a specific play in a football game, the most I would ever run is maybe 5 yards, 8 yards. But in practice, the coach had me running 5 miles. And I'm smarter than the coach, obviously.
Of course.
And I'm thinking, why am I running 5 miles when my job in a game is to run 5 yards? And so that coach, and it could have just been one, none of the coaches, but it could have just been, just assumed that I knew that, well, you're getting in shape when you run 5 miles. And the reason I'm having you run 5 miles is so that you'll have stamina in the fourth quarter or whatever. They never pointed that out to me. So it never made sense to me. Why is the coach having me do this? So I just thought the coach was stupid and decided to quit and go get a job and get paid rather than go to football practice. But the situation you just described, I can absolutely see how, I'll just say millennial, I don't even, like we've already established, neither one of us know what the generations are. But the younger generation, that person could be saying, why do I need to we could do this call at 11. We don't need to do it at 8.
That's exactly what they're saying.
And if the boss or the manager doesn't say, and the boss or manager could be saying, I shouldn't have to tell them I don't need to explain why we're meeting at 8. But you know what? If you want to get the most from your people and you see that happening, you need to adjust. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't believe that they're owed an explanation, and quite frankly, they're not, but just because they're not owed an explanation, give it to them so they'll understand, here's why we're meeting at 8.
Right. And if they understood why they were meeting at 8, there's a good possibility they might be there.
Yeah. So it takes adjustment on both sides. Mm-hmm. And that's really hard to do. Because
without communication,
because the boss is like, I'm the boss. And they do
That's ego.
Yeah.
The boss can go ego and not communicate just because they let their ego get too big.
Mm-hmm. But, in my first reaction was, that's crazy that they can't get to their Zoom call by 8. But that was my first reaction. But then I stop and think about it and overcome my first reaction because I still think it's idiotic. But, hey, you have to deal with that. You have to deal with idiots, in air quotes.
Well.
Because truth matters, they're not idiots.
And here's the other thing that all of them say. We weren't taught how to do adult life. Mm-hmm. We weren't taught how to schedule a day and how to get banking done and car stuff done and laundry done and cook food and buy food, healthy food, and do all the things that an adult has to do. We weren't taught any of that. Why aren't they teaching us in college some of the basics of living?
Okay, and I know this isn't where you were going with that, but my response to that is, so what?
You learn it.
Yeah, so what?
But where do you learn it?
YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can learn anything you want to learn.
On YouTube.
Well, even before that, encyclopedias, library. I mean, if you want to learn something, you can learn it.
I agree to a certain point for those that can learn that way. And that's the majority. It is the majority. But do they have the time?
Yes, they have the time. Because you have time for what you want to make time for. Mm-hmm. It's number one. Number two.
When you're working 55 hours a week?
Yeah. There's another 90 hours. Okay, that's number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, and you see my kind of emotional reaction to this.
Oh, I saw it. Yes.
I saw it. And this can either be a long episode or we're going to have to do another one. But my God. Quit blaming other people for your problems.
Don't play the victim.
Quit it. Take control of your own life. Yeah, it sucked that they didn't teach you how to balance a checkbook in high school. Yes, it sucks that your parents didn't teach you to get dressed in the morning.
Or comb your hair.
Yeah.
Or make a smoothie on your own, in your own kitchen, instead of having to go to...
Smoothie King?
Yeah. That's
Starbucks?
Yeah, there you go.
Just lost them as sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
But no. But quit blaming other people and other things for your station in life. There are some legitimate, and they're going to be hard for me to find, reasons, things that keep you down. Well, but you know what? I'm pulling a number. The main thing that keeps you down is you.
It is. It is, because you have the choice. You can choose to be creator of your life, or you can choose to be victim of your life. And yes, everyone teaches you to be victim, and you see all the rewards going to victims, because the victims get all the love and attention and, oh, poor you, and, oh, how can I help you today? And it's bullshit, because that is not evolving your soul. That is giving up. To be a creator of your life, you take on the responsibility of taking care of yourself.
Yeah. And there are things I'm bad at.
All of us are.
That I know I'm bad at.
But we learn how to be better.
Yeah.
And now there seems to be a common complaint coming up from adults that say, I don't want to do it all alone. I want a partner. What do you say to that?
Give me a better detail of that.
So you have most of mine are females, not all of them, but most of them. So most of the single females are saying, I am tired. I am tired of taking care of the car and the insurance and the food.
You're going to torch me. You're going to torch me for this.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's hear it. Maybe they need torch. Maybe they need
No, you're going to torture me for this.
I may.
They shouldn't have to take care of that stuff.
Oh, I like that. Go ahead.
They should. I mean, call it old fashioned. Call it male chauvinistic, misogynistic. Is that the word? But no, women shouldn't have to.
Do tell me, how should this be? I like you so far.
Women should be taken care of. And I don't have a problem at all with a woman wanting a partner to take care of stuff like that. Especially if the woman has proven she can do it herself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm single, I'm divorced, so I might be wrong about this.
Well, so you're a single one doing it all, too.
But I would personally rather have a woman that wants to be taken care of than one that I can do it all myself. I don't need. And that might be a little bit biblical. That might be chauvinistic. But I truly think that, like we're saying in the other episode, there are roles.
Well, and doesn't that bring the togetherness?
Yes.
When we have it, I do that, I don't need any help, we're keeping the separate fence between us.
Mm-hmm.
When we have to do it together, and the jobs don't have to be role model jobs like the male has to do those jobs or the female has to do those jobs. They can be whatever works for both people.
Like, for example, when I was married, and I say this all the time whenever I talk about you would love my ex-wife. Y'all would. I mean, it was a very easy divorce. Mm-hmm. No controversy, really. But I think she pumped gas maybe twice when we were married. And it wasn't because she refused to pump gas. It was because I didn't. That's not her role. Mm-hmm. She shouldn't have to do that. Mm-hmm. Taking out the trash. Here's a story. I told you this one about the wheels.
I don't know.
Okay, so I moved out of the house. We lived in the house for 14 years.
Okay.
And we had City of Allen is really good with their trash pickup, and you have the big trash can that you wheel out to, the spot in the alley on trash day. Well, I moved out of the house about a month before we sold it. So she was living in the house alone, and she called me, and she said, we've got a problem. And I said, okay. And she said, tomorrow's trash day. And I said, yes. And she said the last time they came to pick up the trash, they moved our receptacle back to the garage door, and it needs to be out by the alley for them to pick it up. I said, yeah. And she said, well, how's it going to get out there? And I said, what do you mean? She said, it's way too heavy for me to put it out there. And I said, the thing has wheels. And she said, what? I said, that big bin has wheels. And she said, I didn't know. So for 14 years, she had never taken the trash out to the point where she didn't know that bin had wheels, and it was going to be real easy for her to do herself. So, I mean, there's certain things that, like, I never vacuumed the house. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I tried to convince her. I was proud of myself. I tried to convince her
do your house
to mow the lawn.
Uh-huh.
Because she liked to vacuum.
Oh.
I mean, it was a good situation. She actually enjoyed vacuuming for some reason.
Okay.
And so I tried to get her to start mowing the lawn and telling her it's just like vacuuming in the lawn. She never bought into that. But anyway, I do think that there are roles, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you give to the single? What do you give to the group of single women that are out there that want to know where and how to find a partner?
Man, you're really trying to get me in trouble.
They don't want drinkers.
First of all, be honest with yourself.
They want real people.
Be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be secure with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I don't want to say it.
Say it.
Market yourself.
Oh, that's what you're going to say?
Yes.
Oh, God, they're doing that. Don't
Are
say
they?
that. Don't
no.
say that.
Are they really?
Yes.
What do you mean by that? And we may have different definitions of that.
Being their sweet little self when they're out and
Are they
made
being
up.
real? No, be real.
That's it.
You know, I told someone the other night that it is amazing because I'm a shallow man.
Mm-hmm.
And looks are very important to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, they are to all men, according to men are from
Yeah,
Mars.
looks are very important. But you know what is absolutely the most attractive part of a woman? And it's a genuine smile. And that may sound like BS. It may sound like I'm being too sensitive. But
Well, what's your definition of a genuine smile, though?
someone who is truly enjoying life and is happy with themselves. That's, to me, that's marketing.
So it's not the come on smile to the waiter that's at the table.
No, it's
Tell me
genuine,
the difference. Tell me the difference. Really exaggerate on the difference there and how a man notices that.
Well, I don't know. I know how I notice it.
Okay.
And
Good
you
enough.
have to do a little bit more than just look. But watching the way a woman carries herself, watching the way she reacts to people, watching the way that she reacts to an uncomfortable situation.
Give me some examples.
When a guy tells a dirty joke.
Okay. How can you tell?
You can tell if a woman is, or any person is faking outrage, or faking over laughing, or just rolling with the punches, and not judging, and not. Or you know what, if she's truly offended by a bad joke, that's fine with me too. But just be honest, just be true.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be fake.
Mm-hmm.
And fake sounds like it's an evil word. I'm not even using it in a evil way. I'm just saying, just be yourself, but make sure that you're good with yourself.
So you would rather a lady not laugh at a joke and say, I just don't care for those kind of jokes.
Yeah, if that's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's truly
absolutely.
how she believes.
Absolutely.
Instead of going along with the crowd and and doing it where it is fake and overdone.
Yeah.
And it's not real, even though sometimes they're not aware enough to know they're doing it and that it does look fake.
And as a matter of fact, the other night when I pointed that out about the smile,
Mm-hmm.
I was at a casino
Mm-hmm.
With a woman, but she was my friend's wife, and I told her that, and she's like, "You're full of shit." And I was like, "No, seriously." The woman who's happy, and I pointed out a woman who's at a slot machine, and I mean, she was definitely not ugly,
Mm-hmm.
but she wasn't like drop dead gorgeous or anything, but she was smiling, she was having fun,
Mm-hmm.
and it was genuine.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, and so I like that. That's very attractive to me for a woman. And I think this is kind of, I think a lot of guys are like this. But a woman who, I said earlier, she can take care of herself, but doesn't necessarily need to take care of herself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it's just a real person that does it all that you would join with. And that's what remarkable relationships are, is two individual, independent people that can do it all on their own that come together to make something bigger. Mm-hmm. And are you telling all the single women out there that the only place to meet single men is at the slot machines?
No. But it is hard to figure out where to meet.
Yes, it really is for them. We're open. I hear them. Yeah. I hear them calling, say, get it from him.
Yeah.
Where are the places to meet single men?
It's hard. I mean,
why is
men
it
have
so
the same
hard?
issue.
So why is it so hard?
Where do you go?
Why is it so hard to meet single partners?
Well, first of all, most of the good ones are already married.
Now, do you really believe that's
on both
true?
sides? Absolutely. Absolutely. On both sides, especially men. Let me tell you what. I feel bad for women in this because most of the good guys, honestly, that's absolutely true. Most good men are married, and I'm not married. So I don't know if that makes me not a good guy.
You're not a good guy.
But, I mean, and I think there's a lot more good women that are single than good men.
So you think the women ratio is way higher than the...
Of good women?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now, there's some batshit crazy women out there, too.
Uh-huh. Well, there's some batshit crazy men, too.
But I'm saying most men, there's a reason they're single.
Uh-huh, because they want to stay single.
I think there's a lot of women out there that are good women, that the reason they're single is they pick the wrong person to be with. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a lot harder to be a single woman in a lot of ways. If you're really, truly trying to find forever, it's a lot harder for a single woman. Now, if you're just trying to find tonight, so much easier for a single woman.
What if you're trying to find forever, or at least a lengthy
church
relationship?
Church.
So we have church and the casino. What else?
No, you're not going to find it in the casino.
Oh, you're not going to find anything.
You'll accidentally find it at the casino.
Okay.
And you still got to be careful. You still got to be careful at church too. But I know that it really has nothing. My thought on this has nothing to do with the religion. Very little to do with religion. But a single guy going to church with good intentions is there because he wants to be a better person. Whether you believe in
whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. That shows you that guy. Now, there are some guys that go to churches to meet the single women, to give off that. But if you find a guy that genuinely is going to church because he's, that's a good guy to find. Even if you don't believe in the religion.
Right.
That's a guy that's principled.
So you go church hopping?
No. But I have heard stories of men. This is where you got to be careful. Men in their 40s, they go to the 30-year-old Bible classes.
Oh, see what they can find.
Yeah.
So what else is there that you're aware of besides church?
I don't know.
So are people's out of luck if there's no church?
Bowling league. I mean, look, I've gotten to the point where, and this is going to be a long one now, I can tell, where I'm not against the thought of having a relationship, and I don't know where to go to meet women. Where do you go to meet women? I just gave you church. Give me something, Kathy. Come on.
I have heard from my clients that 2 or 3 of them, they have found actual real men on there's some kind of Facebook
dating?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Facebook dating.
That's where they have found.
Really?
That I have heard from most everybody right now that they're not too happy with any of the dating sites at all.
I would, if I was a woman, I would not trust a dating site as far as I could throw.
Yeah, they're not. None of them's very happy with those, but they have mentioned the Facebook dating.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. They said at least you can see their profile. You can see if they're really a real person easier than, on the other dating sites.
I wonder what a woman would think about my Facebook page.
I don't know. You should try and see. We should do an experiment. Oh, yes. Let's do this.
You can tell me right now?
Fix it. It's surely not that hard to fix.
No, I'm going to put it up on that screen.
All right. Let's do this.
I got nothing. Oh, I had nothing to hide except it's not letting me put it up on the screen. Let's see what I can do here. But yeah, I mean, I will say this. I do think that things like Facebook do make it easier for you to figure out who someone is and what they're about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you search for a Facebook dating thing.
Oh, I'm on Facebook dating.
Oh, you are?
I am, but...
so you know a little bit about this already.
Yeah, I haven't found anyone.
Well, which one are you on?
Facebook dating.
Well,
I'm not active on it, though.
There's one with 15,000 members. There's one with 2.8 thousand members.
Oh, then I don't know what I'm on.
There's one dating and Facebook.
I set it up a long time ago, Kathy.
Facebook app for singles free.
I'm gonna let me do this. It's making me mad now.
So,
are you on any dating websites? How do you meet men?
I don't meet men.
Are you not interested?
Oh, I'm very interested. I just don't know where to go to meet. So there's several dating apps here. 3 seem to be Facebook. The others are other named.
Okay, let's see if I can do this now. We're going to have to do this some other time because it's not going to let me.
It's not letting you in.
Are you friends with me on Facebook?
Yes.
Go to your phone and look at my Facebook profile. Not the dating one.
Just the regular.
Yeah, tell me what you can learn from me. I had a radio producer once who claimed, now I think, I kind of like this claim, but he claimed that he can learn and give you a profile of an individual, complete stranger, just by spending 10 minutes on their Facebook profile. He can tell you what they're all about.
Well, if I had a current picture, I don't think it'd take 10 minutes.
No, I'm not talking about the picture. I'm talking about the posts and like when you see when you go through my posts, tell me what it tells you, which is kind of
Well, you're self-employed, former on-air personality, former management production on-air, KTCK, studied economics and public administration, went to Floyd Berkner High School, lived in Allen, male, birthday, Frito.
But look at my posts.
Life events,
tell me if you can figure anything about me.
Abolition Society. Oh, I'm sure you're very political. Let's see here.
I'm not on Facebook.
Looking forward to Labor Day and launch of the Just Wondering podcast. Mark it is. Doing a little homework, producing. Oh, they're into the Schumann thing, right?
What, the Doomsday podcast?
Uh-huh.
No, that's actually a Cowboys football podcast.
The Rona thing with the Rona picture in it.
Yeah, Rona's there. That's my desk at home.
Mark Freeman, Allen in Action, the mayor and businessman.
Oh, here's the...
See, you're into...
Look at my refrigerator picture.
I saw that the other day for some weird reason. It came up. It's kind of empty. It shows a male refrigerator for sure.
Muscle milk, tuna fish, and coleslaw. and some beans.
taking the squeakers out.
My little man at Topgolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, you can definitely tell that you're a real man and you're really doing really good things.
You think?
Yeah.
I think it makes me look really boring if you go through there.
Well, you'd be worth talking to find out if he's boring.
This dude has no personality.
I don't think that's true.
He takes pictures of his refrigerator.
That's kind of unusual. And you have a dog.
And he's a freak about his dog.
Yeah. I kind of get turned off on guys and dogs.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Why?
It's another person to deal with.
See, see? Here's where you're wrong.
Okay.
For most single women, not you, that's okay. So I said you're wrong, but it's okay to be wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Uh-huh. But a dude that has a dog is willing to take care of someone other than himself.
Now, you got to have a point there.
A guy that has a dog is not selfish.
Okay.
Boom.
I can judge a man by the shape of his dog. Because if the dog's happy, the guy's good.
What dog isn't happy?
Oh, I've seen them. Dog's not happy, partner not happy, owner not happy.
But those are the things. And like a guy looking at a woman, like this, to me, looking at a woman who has a genuine smile and enjoys life is like a true test, and that's an indication of something. I think for a woman, a dude with a dog, that's an indication of, okay, he cares about something other than himself.
Huh. Interesting.
That's just me. I mean...
Well, it's true that they do. I've pretty much... I'm not saying I won't have another pet, but I've had many, and I just have a hard time taking care of myself, let alone adding somebody else in.
See, okay. Let me ask you this. Because a lot of dudes, and I've seen them on dating profiles, they'll take their picture in front of their sports car. Mm-hmm. And to me, part of my choice of words here, that to me just screams douche.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you how.
Unless I like that car, which I usually don't.
To me, I wouldn't want. First of all, I wouldn't want to be that guy.
Right.
That feels the need to. There's nothing wrong
show
with
off
the dude
his
owning
car.
The sports car.
Right.
Nothing wrong with
that
at all.
Right. But to put it on your dating app is going to. It's almost showing you want to show it off.
Yeah. Like.
It shouldn't be that way, really. It really shouldn't.
Why not?
Because it's just something they own. Why should we judge them because it's expensive? That's not...
Because that tells me...
That's not fair.
It tells me that you want the world to know you're not owning it for you. You're owning it so the world... Now, I'm being a little bit hypocritical because I did post pictures of me with my motorcycle. But... that was because that's something that, well, I didn't do it. I didn't do it to say, hey, look what I own. Right. It was, hey, I'm on my bike today.
There is a different stance when you can read body language of the person when they're showing off because, oh, see what I own. But it should also be just as equal.
A lot of people don't brag about owning a motorcycle either.
It should be just as equal, though, that a person that is their normal everyday life, that they should be able to show off their stuff when it's not in that manner, and it be okay.
I don't need to show off.
Right. Well, that's what I meant. They should be able to show their car. They're not showing it off. They're just showing they have it.
They're showing off.
Okay. They
are showing off, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I don't need to, and I don't want to be friends with someone who feels the need to show off.
So are they showing off when they have their pet in their pictures?
No, because that's...
What is that?
To me, a pet isn't...
part of the family.
A possession.
It's part of the family.
And to me, you're putting a picture of your pet on there, not to say, look at me, I got a pet. But when you're putting a picture of you with the Corvette or the Lambo, look at me, I got a Lambo. You're not doing that with a pet. You're not saying, hey, I'm better than you because I got a dog.
Well, what are you saying? What is the statement?
Look how cute my dog. Look what my dog did today. Look at this funny video, or you're giving the dog. You're highlighting the dog.
Right.
You're not trying to
Right.
make any statement other than. That's why, Kathy, whenever, and we've talked about this, when I coached Special Olympics and when I would go to these tournaments and post pictures from the tournaments, I always was concerned that people were thinking, look at, Frito's just saying, look at me. And I was never doing that. I was saying, look at them, and you can volunteer also.
Right.
But I was really paranoid because I did not want to come off
Right.
as, Frito's just showing that he cares.
Well, and that is a place that you have to just let that go because you know where you are.
Exactly.
And you just have to let them be who they are.
Or you know what? I'll tell you what, the dude that posted with the Lambo, if he were to type in, hey, look, this is a goal I've had my entire life,
Right.
and I've achieved it.
Right. That would be different for you.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit different. There being hey, because it might motivate others.
Right.
But to just post the picture and look what or like, I know it works. Obviously, women like.
Oh, I posted a picture because I had the opportunity to be standing by one and then to be standing by another one and then a different one. And I posted those
That's
just
different.
for the hell of it.
That's different, though. I think most men that post dating pics, okay, let me show you one that I didn't post. This isn't for a dating app, but come on, Mark. Here we go. Should I post that one?
I can't. Oh, we're at the Barbie.
See if you can describe that.
We're in the Barbie district. Well, sure.
So,
why shouldn't you?
It's a picture of me in a Barbie doll box.
Yep.
Trying to pose like I'm some kind of Barbie.
Why not? Did you see the movie?
Not yet. I'm going to, though.
Oh, I'm going to, too. Did you see the...
Sound of Freedom?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay. What'd you think of it?
Have you seen it?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not into movies like that. Like, if it was fiction, I'm not into, like, action-type movies. But the fact it's based on a true story,
Yes.
whether it's loosely based or completely factual, didn't matter to me. I thought the message in the movie, look, goosebumps, was incredibly important.
Yes.
I thought the message after the movie is incredibly important.
Yes.
And I think everyone
Needs to go see it.
needs to see it because I think we all live in a bubble.
I think so, too.
And we have no clue what's going on. And we have no grasp of the things that there are so many different worlds out there that we just have no clue about. And it's not just us. It's the people living in world number one have no clue.
What world two's in.
Yeah. And to know that there's people out there, and there are, I don't know if you know the controversy with the movie or not, but there's all sorts of controversy swirling around this movie. And if you just watched the movie and didn't know about any of the controversy.
Yeah. It's pretty believable, isn't it?
Well, it's believable because it's true. And like I said, that maybe they embellished a little bit, but it's based on facts that there is child trafficking. There is this type of abuse going on. You can't argue with that. They didn't make this up. They may have, it's Hollywood or it's the movies. But it's something that goes unnoticed. It's something that
gets overlooked.
That we almost purposely overlook it because we don't want to think that occurs. And that's wrong.
It's so wrong.
And also...
And he couldn't live with himself anymore doing it. He could not live with his inner moral code and not try to go save those kids.
And if you see it, I can understand that. If you lived his life and saw it every day, man. And I think that we need to... That's why I think people need to see the movie. Mm-hmm. Not that we're all going to go out there and do something about it.
Right.
But we need to know that it exists.
Yes.
And we need to care about it.
We need to care. That's the thing.
And it doesn't just exist.
Nobody's caring because no one knows that it's...
Yeah.
How do you care about something if you don't know what's going on?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think it's a very important movie.
I do too.
And by the way, the controversy surrounding it proves to me how important that movie is.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
I'm of the belief, first of all, the enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing. I'm also of the belief that the more someone tries to shut something down,
there's something there.
There's something there, yes.
I mean, it's obvious, isn't it?
And
how many movie studios go without air conditioning all at once, all over the place?
Yeah. If that's really, truly happening the way it's being reported, I don't know if I believe...
I know, we don't know
the extent of it. But I do know that this is a movie that took a while to get...
Over 5 years,
released,
as I understand.
And they had trouble...
Because of trouble trying to get it released, right?
Yes.
Lots of trouble.
And I wish I knew, and this is part of the problem, that you don't know who to believe, you don't know what to believe. But believe me on this one, this human trafficking is not just this movie. It's
out there.
It's true. Mm-hmm. It happens. And it happens here. Mm-hmm. And, maybe American kids aren't the ones being kidnapped, but those kids in Colombia...
Oh, they are.
They are being trafficked here because there's a demand here. And there's demand worldwide. And we may be fortunate in this country to where it's not a preponderance of our kids that are being trafficked. But other kids are being trafficked in here, and that's just as bad.
Well, I think that we're just ignorant of the fact that it has been our kids out also. Because, unfortunately, I happen to know of some person that had his 2 little girls with him and turned right around and they were gone.
Oh, my gosh.
And never found.
How's that not get...
Oh, it got reported. It got searched. I mean, this was years later. 10, 15 years later. And they hadn't been found. How do you live with it? How do you deal with something like that?
Well, and when you think about it, how easy...
Oh, it's so easy. It is so easy. You put something over their mouth and they're little, they're gone.
Well, not only that, but like the plot of the movie, the first kids that you see that get kidnapped.
They're going to be models.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the recruiter tells Dad, hey, your kids are,
excellent. Going to do great.
And he takes them to
and he trusts her.
A photo shoot, and she says, come back at 7.
And he knew. It showed. You could see it in him. It showed that he didn't trust that.
And you can sit here and judge and think, why would a father leave their kids alone like that?
You know why he does, because he had to go back to work.
But, and I had one of my friends has a 12-year-old, and I think an 8-year-old now. And we were on the phone, and she was asking me if I thought her kids were old enough to go to a Rough Riders game alone. Now, I'll tell you what, when I was growing up, my parents would have no problem at 10 dropping us off at a movie theater or and then coming back and picking us up after the movie. And that didn't make them bad parents. I mean, that was just...
Yeah, that's the way it was.
But I told her, I said, look, yeah, your 12-year-old, he knows what's up. He's responsible, but... And I joked around with her. She's of Hispanic heritage. And I said, you got two very cute little Mexican boys that would fetch a lot on the black market. So you need to go see this movie. And as responsible as your kids may be,
they can't protect themselves.
Well, they can't protect themselves, and it wouldn't be that hard to lure them.
Not at all.
Somewhere.
Not
it
at
just
all.
really wouldn't be. And before they know, and even, I mean, responsible kids, smart kids.
Most of them aren't lured. Most of them is over the face and they're in a vehicle before you know what happens.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's definitely a movie that I think everyone should see. And from what I hear about Barbie, I think people should see Barbie too.
Well, there's also one that opposes Barbie about men.
Well,
what's the name of it?
Oppenheimer?
Yes. They're saying there's charts up now of the votes against the two.
Oh, okay. Well,
we'll have to see them both.
But Oppenheimer's like close to 3 hours long. There's no way I could do that.
Sure you can.
But I was talking to a girl that saw Barbie, and she's going to be a college freshman. I asked her what she thought, and she gave me a good 15 minutes on how men control the world, and I'm like, that should be another topic for us.
Yes,
because I truly believe that maybe men control the world, but it's only because women haven't figured out that they really truly have the power to control the world. And they do. They absolutely do. You show me an attractive woman that has a good brain, she's in control.
I thought of that.
7 days a week.
I thought of that coming in, that we need to go down the history lineage, because women used to be in control.
They still are.
Well, but they used to notably be in control, and everybody was happy with that. Right?
Were they?
I think.
Has everyone been happy anytime? At any time in the history of the world?
That's a good question.
No. We've never had a time when people have been happy.
That's a good question. Because I think you're right, except for this one time I'm thinking of, and maybe there weren't. I need to do some more exploring.
If you think they were, then that's been being misreported.
It was a long time ago.
Let me ask you this. Do you think we live in crazy times now?
Not compared to what it's going to be.
Not compared to what's... How about compared to the way it's been? Is the craziness factor on the graph, is it on its way up? Has it plateaued?
Yeah, it's on its way up.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think that every period in history has been crazy. I think that when you think about... We have a guy running for president right now that's under indictment and who may be sent to jail. And I'm telling you this, and this is political. If he's running against the current guy and he's in jail, I'm still voting for him. That's how crazy we are right now. And I think I'm intelligent, but so that's how crazy the times are right now. And I wouldn't want to have to vote for him. I don't want that to happen, but that's how crazy time. But you know what? We had Civil War. We had Vietnam. We have Watergate. It's always been crazy.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be crazy.
Why?
Because people are involved.
But why can't we understand how to be peaceful?
Because people are involved. People screw up everything. And that's the way the world's designed. Do you agree with that?
I don't know.
Because you know why? Because some woman ate an apple. Or forced her man to eat the apple. I'm sorry. Got that a little bit wrong, but once again, women being in control.
I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. There's a lot of unknowns here.
But we need to be able to adjust.
Absolutely. Because adjusting to the unknown is key to survival.